On a chilly day in Bloomington, Illinois, 6 days before the Christmas of 1955, an employee of General Electric and his wife welcomed their first child into the world, John David Hoagland. Over a year after John David's birth, and almost 1,000 miles away, in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, Loretta Hazel Exford was born to a United States postal carrier and his native German wife. John David, from birth, was called by his middle name since his father's name was John also. Due to his father's job with General Electric, David and his family moved 13 times by the time he was 13. It was a rough time for him because of his family packing up and moving so often. Loretta, on the other hand, spent her entire childhood years at her home in Pittsfield. Her parents still live in that same house today. Her father worked at the local post office, and her mother acted as a stay-at-home mom for her and her older sister and brother. Architecture had always interested David from a young age, and by the age of 7 he knew he wanted to be an architect. He loved drawing and building things for people, especially when it could help people and make their lives better. From an early age, Loretta had always had an interest in the plants and animals she saw. She knew she wanted to do something with biology and the environment when she got older. After graduating from high school in 1974, David attended Rensselaer Polytechnical Institute in Troy, New York, where he majored in architecture. The following year, Loretta graduated from high school and began attending Berkshire County Community College. After 2 years of going to school there and living at home, she transferred to Russell Sage College in Troy, New York. Little did these two know that the previous 20 years had brought them both to this point, David to a majority all-male college and Loretta to the neighboring female college in Troy, New York. On a chance meeting on a rainy night in September of 1977, life was forever changed for these two individuals. Some of David's friends wanted to visit some girls at Russell Sage, and he decided to tag along. Loretta and her friends came down to meet them. Loretta came down the steps, and as far as David was concerned, it was love at first sight. The guys had come to save Loretta and her girlfriends from doing too much homework. They all went to a local bar called the Dewdrop Inn, and David saw his opportunity with Loretta. David moved up next to Loretta from his seat on the opposite side of the group and let his funny side out. Loretta was immediately taken with his wit and charm. As everyone was leaving the bar to walk back, it began to rain, so David offered up his jacket to protect Loretta and himself from the rain. From then on, it was only David in Loretta's mind. She and David quickly became very serious. At the end of the school year, David graduated from Rensselaer, Loretta finished up her junior year, and they made the big decision to move in with each other over the summer. Loretta never really had any thoughts of marriage, not at this point in her life. She had always thought that the age of 26 would be a good time to get married. But when they moved in together, though, it crossed her mind that if the summer went well, that David might start to talk about marriage. For David, 9 months of dating from September to May was long enough in his eyes to confirm what he knew the first night that they met, that she was the one forever. David took most of his savings in a giant leap and went and bought a ring without talking to Loretta ahead of time. He had planned to wait to ask her to marry him until he got the ring, but the day that they moved in together, he went ahead and asked, even without the ring. Since the idea of marriage, after only 9 months of dating, had never crossed Loretta's mind, she was very surprised when David asked her. She told him that she needed more time to think about it and ended up making him wait 2 weeks before giving him any sort of answer. 2 weeks after David's proposal, a note came in the mail notifying him that the ring was ready to be picked up, but Loretta saw it first. She had no idea that he had already bought a ring, but when they went later that day to look at and pick up the ring, David knew he had her. On August 11, 1979, David and Loretta got married in Pittsfield at an Episcopal church, and just like the day they met, it rained. And the rest is history, because they lived happily ever after.